So there you go.
Alright, so what we're looking at here is a Zenith TV that I found on Facebook Marketplace. There was a family that was moving out of a condo. They had it listed for $5, and they wanted to get it sold before they moved out. And I just messaged them and said, hey, if you end up just wanting to dump this TV, or you just need it gone, let me know, and I'll take care of that for you. I'll just haul it away and give it a good home. Well, I went and got it, brought it home, and it would not power on at all. So I hooked this B&K 465 CRT tester to it right here. And if you haven't seen the inside of one of these things, it's amazing. Mine doesn't fully work, but I was able to send 6.3 voltage to the heater and confirm that I did have net glow. So the vacuum seemed to be okay. And it took a beautiful picture of that net glow, and it's one of my favorites. But I'm kind of a nerd for such things, and I plan to rebuild that B&K tester, so I ordered all new parts from Mouser on that. You can check that out. So there's the adapter connected to it. And I was looking at the chassis, and it's overall clean, but I did see right here is where the line voltage comes in from your outlet, your wall outlet, and right behind it is this little glass fuse right here. It's a 4 amp fast blow fuse, and it was toast. It was toast. I ran a continuity test with a multimeter across that, and there was no continuity. So I thought, maybe it blew trying to protect the TV from a surge. And so the plan at this point was order another fuse, replace that one, and see if that would get the chassis to fire up or if it would lead us to another problem. And while I was waiting for the fuse to come in from Mouser and the components to rebuild that B&K CRT tester, I went ahead and cleaned up the jungle IC so I could try to identify it. And the potential idea here is, if I can get this CRT to work, it would make a really good first attempt at an RGB mod. So one of the perks of being in Houston is most of your Mouser orders come in only one day. And so here is the bulk order of everything that I needed to, well, minus one item, to rebuild that B&K CRT tester. Tons of really beefy capacitors, a whole army of resistors. So that's going to be a fun project. But here I found the glass fuses for this Zenith TV, but I also ordered some more fuses for our family's microwave oven, which was blowing fuses, and I need to keep testing it, so I needed some more of those. So quickly opened this up, ran a quick continuity test on it just to make sure that they were good, and they're now ready to go in the chassis. Alright, so here we are. We have the chassis. We're getting it ready for the fuse, which is right back here. Just kind of cosmetically looking around, and everything seems to be fine. So it has these two big sockets. Oh, there's a little scoring there I didn't think I saw before. I'm only just now seeing through the video, but look at that. There's a little scoring. I don't even know what that component is. But get the solder iron really close to the camera. Okay. And just soldering this fuse in place. It's not the 1.25" fuse. It's a little smaller, but that's fine. I'm just fine with that. So I'm just gonna leave it. Just gonna leave those legs real tall and just kind of let it stand there. I don't know how long this fuse is gonna last in there. It might blow immediately. So yeah, I'm just gonna clean up that area underneath, get all the flux off of there. Test continuity. We've got lots of beeps, and we're good. So I took the chassis back over to the CRT and began plugging things back together, just making sure I put things back the way that they're supposed to be. Really, the only connections are there's a harness that goes to the front speakers. There's a harness that goes to the button panel up front. There is the neck board. There's a couple of grounding wires. There's the anode cap. There's the RGB feed to the yoke. up top, and the degaussing coil. And so with all those back into place, you want to be careful putting your neck back on. Those pins can be pretty brittle. It's a sensitive area, so just gentle pressure. I rock very, very gently back and forth. And I kind of, when I'm putting the anode cap back on, I peel back the rubber piece so I can see what's happening and make sure I have a good set before letting that go. Spin the TV around so we can see the test. Hello, washer, dryer, open door, and my tinker station. So getting things ready, working in socks, and fixing to power this thing on and see what happens. So we've got everything plugged in. It didn't go well, and so I'm going to do it again just to demonstrate how it didn't go well. There's my on-off switch. So as soon as I apply power, look at this amazing light show happening back here. That's that magic smoke that you don't want to escape from your circuits. It's currently escaping. So I was looking at the area from over the top, trying to see if I could just tell what was happening, and I couldn't. So that's when I removed the chassis and found this arc that was happening underneath. And so reflowed the solder in that area, made sure it was all clean. Yeah, I figured I would try it again. And here's what happened. There's the area, and I'm fixing to turn it back on. And as soon as I do, there's a big old pop right there, and I'm not sure exactly what is going on. I could have sworn that it blew the fuse, but then I checked continuity, and no, that fuse is still good, so I'm not sure what happened there. But as just part of the diagnostic process, I went ahead and disconnected the degaussing coil just to see what happened, and this is what happened.
Why would that be doing it?
So I was left pretty dumbfounded on why just removing the degaussing coil would get the TV to fire up. There was no more arcs. So I put some batteries in the remote and was just kind of tinkering around with it. I went ahead and planned to connect my Nintendo, my test NES, up to it. Check out that menu system. I didn't know if the TV was missing color here because it's just yellow and black, but look at that slick menu system, the way it like fades up and fades down. That is probably the coolest menu system I've ever seen on a TV this age. I can see some blurriness around the edges of the CRT, and it's a little disheartening, but it's not too bad. So go ahead and hit the TV video button as soon as I find it. This is the original remote. It was sitting on top of the TV whenever I picked it up from the condo. And so I switched the source right here to VCR. Boom! November 22nd, 2006. That's something. So I fire up the NES. I'm not entirely sure what's going to happen. And wow, we have color. We have oversaturated color, but we still have color. It looks great, but at this point we don't have sound because I still hadn't connected the external speakers to it. And there is the connection for the external speakers. I went ahead and reconnected the degaussing coil right there just to kind of see what would happen if it would still fire up. Everything is looking pretty okay, and so I hit power. I hear that high voltage whine and wait for everything to boot up. We're still in 2006. Right on. That's fantastic. Fire up the old NES and see what we get. But this time, will we actually hear sound?
Oh, Simon.
And I couldn't believe it, but we did have sound, and it sounded great. There was no more ticking with the degaussing coil connected. There was no more ticking back here at the yoke or the anode cap. It seemed to be running smooth. Another net glow shot because it's just amazing. And then it took some time to kind of like really see what was going on with the corners, and you can just see the fuzziness at the two corners versus the way it looks in the center. Granted, it's just a composite signal, so it's not going to look fantastic, but there's definitely some blurriness going on at the corners. But while I am glad that this TV is running, that I was able to get it up and running again, I'm not super heavily invested in it, and I would like to continue using this set as a learning opportunity for me. And so this Toshiba chip right here is actually a rebranded Sharp IC, and there is some documentation on that. So I do hope to RGB mod, at least attempt to RGB mod this thing in the future, so stay tuned for a video on that. Thanks for checking out this video, and thanks for being a part of the effort to save the CRTs.